So today I'm with Oyuki and her son Ezra. He's 3 years old. Oyuki, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Oyuki, you're in a shelter, but I saw you out here in the streets. You're at a convenience store. You're getting something to drink. How long before you get out of the shelter?
We have 90 days, so we have about maybe 2-3 months left.
And what are your plans after the shelter?
After the shelter, I'm planning to hopefully have a job have a place to go before the 3 months, 2-3 months are up.
Are you working?
At the moment, I just started working like 3 days ago.
Okay. And what caused you to go to a shelter in the first place?
We were jumping from place to place trying to get help, but we ended up calling the 211 number, trying to get help that way, and we're jumping from shelter to shelter, so we came to your mom. Or came to the shelter.
Okay. And what type of help does the shelter offer you?
Well, when we first show up, supposedly we're already signed up for some sort of housing, but they told me that they don't know anything about that. So I'm trying to at least get different resources on how I could go about getting Section 8 or something like that.
Okay. What about family? Do you have family that can help you a little bit?
My family helps me as much as they can.
Okay. And you just started working, but sometimes it's hard to get going, right? To get a hand up, to get on your feet, right?
Definitely.
Is Ezra your only baby?
He is my only baby.
Okay. What's it like living in the shelter? You feel safe?
At times there is still people that take in drugs, so they do have that on campus. They try their best to keep up with it, but they don't do a very good job with that. And yeah, I just stay inside most of the time, just being outside around everybody else. There's a lot of drama too there. People don't get along there.
People fighting, arguing.
Yeah, all the time. Stop. It's okay. Here. Relax. Come on. Look, open your candy. Here. It's okay. I know it's hot. I know. Here. Look. Here. Stop. Why are you doing it? Come on. Billy. Stop, Ezra. You're doing too much. You want crackers? Stop. Do you want crackers? Okay, we'll go to sleep.
And when you went to your shelter, what was the situation right before the shelter? Were you literally on the streets? Were you with family? What was happening at that time?
At that time I was with family, but there's not enough room, so we were only able to stay there for a couple of days.
It was just a lot of people at home, basically.
Just a lot, yeah.
Okay. And you want a little bit of more stability for you and Ezra, right? So the shelter, it's not permanent, it's just temporary, right? So you can kind of get a job and get going.
Yes.
So that's really good that they're able to help you, right? Okay, so Ezra's entertained now. So people that I talk to about shelters, they say their number one concern is always safety. Shelters aren't the safest environments for people, let alone children, right?
Right.
And so I'm glad that there's security, but I'm also glad that you stay indoors mainly because you see so much, fighting, arguing, and all that drama. Unfortunately, there's drugs in there sometimes, right? Even though they're not supposed to, they do. But definitely keep protecting Ezra, right?
Yes, definitely.
Have they been nice to you at the shelter? Have they been supportive?
Yeah, they're mostly supportive.
Okay. Would you recommend shelters in the future for people?
Yeah, I would. If you're really down in the hole and you really need that help, I do definitely suggest the shelter.
People that I interview out here, they tell me that they get on a list for housing. Does that ring a bell? Is there a list for housing that exists?
I'm not sure. I've asked about that as well, and they tell me that they don't know anything about any list or anything like that.
Wow. Okay. So I normally interview people out here that are homeless, but they're homeless because they're using blues. How do you manage to stay away from substances?
My son, I can't. I'm sober 6 years of blues, and I would never go back. I, it was too much. They lose a lot of money. Yeah, you just lose your life, and it's not worth it. I have my son to live for, and I can't.
How did you get sober?
I did rehab for 5 days, and I was good ever since.
How were you introduced to blues? You're 25, so that means you started when you were like. So you've been sober 6 years. You got sober when you were 19. When did you start?
I started at 20, so I'm about a couple of years clean.
Okay, couple years clean.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And how were you introduced to them back then?
With the person that I was with when I moved out, I made a mistake and got married. So my ex-husband, he introduced me to them.
That's bad, right? Somebody you love shouldn't be introduce you to bad stuff like chemicals and all whatnot, right?
Definitely. So that was a big. But you live and you learn, and right. I definitely lived and I learned.
Yeah. Yeah. So you, how much did they cost back then when you were trying them?
Like $5, $10.
$5, $10. Yeah, I started interviewing about 3.5 years ago, and that's how much they were. The cheapest back then was $5, and the most expensive was $10, $12. 3.5 years ago. So it's interesting how prices, because right now they're about $1, $2.
Yeah.
Last year they're 50 cents. So kind of fluctuates on how many pills there are in the valley and whatnot.
It's so sad.
Scary, huh? Because any little kid can afford 50 cents,
Yeah.
And there's so many 13-year-olds that want to be older, act cooler, and they shouldn't be trying that stuff, right?
Very definitely.
How many years were you using?
I was using for maybe 2, 3 years.
Wow. How many were you using in a day?
In a day, maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
I wasn't that bad, but.
Yeah, I've interviewed people and they're done 50 a day, 60,
Yeah.
70, 100 a day.
Yeah.
Do you think those decisions from back then, blues, do you think it's affected you? There might be a reason why you're here now because of stuff like that, or no? It's totally separate.
No, it's totally separate.
Okay, got it. So Oyuki, I'm gonna say thank you very much for sharing your story. I just saw you out there. I wanted to see what was happening with you and Ezra. If people want to help you, they want to get you some food, they want to get you, help you out, with whatever they can. You said you have a Cash App. What's that Cash App?
It's gonna be PRINCESSYDALI 22.
Okay. So if anybody wants to help Oyuki and Ezra with a meal, anything, she'd be very grateful, right?
Yes, I greatly appreciate it. Any help that I can get.
Absolutely. So please continue to work, continue to try to do the best you can for your family. I'm glad that you stopped blues a long time ago. Please don't go back to that because you have a lot to lose, right?
Yes, I have a lot to lose.
Yeah, and Ezra deserves a better future, right?
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna give you my card with my number on it, so we can stay in contact. So you can let me know what's happened to you, where you're at, and any updates you want to give. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
So thank you, Oyuki. Please stay safe. We'll talk soon. Okay?
Okay, thank you.